Right off the bat, the internet seemed very perplexed about how does an accidental drowning occur. I immediately thought of Matthew Perry and Whitney Houston. They had the same cause of death, so we know where that came from. No illicit behavior, nothing, no smoking gun that you can really point to other than a powerful current in the ocean while you were swimming with your family on vacation, which is like maybe the most tragic circumstances of all. Everything was good, you're hanging out with your family, you're on vacation, you're making memories, and next thing you know, a rip current rips you away, and that's all she wrote. I honestly don't know what's worse. Something that's regrettable and reckless leaves you wondering why and how did we miss this and could this have been avoided. Something like this, though, is just like 1 minute you're good and the next minute you're gone. With your family there, and I'm sure they were trying to save you, and oh my God, that is absolutely gut-wrenching. Just one of those examples of how Mother Nature can be an absolute deadly force. So once again, rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner, gone at the age of 54, simply from a rip current while swimming with his family. Oh.
The moment news broke that Malcolm Jamal Warner, the beloved star from The Cosby Show, had suddenly passed away at age 54, the internet was left stunned. Initial reports pointed to drowning as the cause of death while he was vacationing with his family on a beach in Costa Rica. It seemed like a tragic, natural accident. But something about the story didn't sit right. Why did a seemingly straightforward accident lead to a flood of accusations, conspiracies, and shocking revelations about the dark side of the black entertainment industry? Shortly after the news was confirmed, social media went into overdrive. Every little detail, every quote from Malcolm's past interviews was re-examined through a brand new lens. And then, like a match to gasoline, Tyler Perry's name was unexpectedly thrown into the center of the storm. One of the most powerful producers in Hollywood, rumored to have had past tensions with Malcolm, suddenly found himself under suspicion. But it didn't stop there. Two other names jumped into the fray: Nique and Cat Williams, the outspoken figures in the industry known for calling out its dark underbelly. Not only did they question the nature of Malcolm's death, but they also used the moment to shine a broader light on what they describe as abusive power dynamics and psychological manipulation involving Tyler Perry.
Earlier, I've never seen so many cowards and black men in this business. I would have to put my brother Tyler Perry in that. See, when I see you do a clip and you go to T's church, and I watch you write a check for $1 million in front of the congregation, and you give it to this man, was that for the congregation to give more money? Or was that really genuine?
She's so fierce.
See, when no one's watching, who are you? So when everyone's watching, and we got a chance to see when no one was watching. The first person to pay Taraji P. Henson the most money she's ever made. And then we said, but did you pay her fairly? And then he said, I paid her more than she's ever made. What does that mean, brother?
Mr. Perry comes in, everything changes. So we literally run the entire episode for him, and he hates it. He says, you know, I want Jeffrey to be gay, and he has a crush on his...
So what really happened that day on the Costa Rican beach? How could a healthy man like Malcolm suddenly drown right in front of his family? Was this just an accident toward the carefully orchestrated end of a man who dared to reject Hollywood's darker temptations? Let's pull back the curtain on a story that's shaking the entertainment world to its core. The first official report stunned the public. Malcolm Jamal Warner had drowned while swimming with his 8-year-old daughter at a popular beach in Costa Rica. According to media outlets, a powerful rip current had suddenly swept Malcolm out to sea. His daughter was nearly pulled under as well, but was rescued just in time by a passing surfer. As for Malcolm, despite a volunteer lifeguard pulling him to shore and performing CPR immediately, it was already too late. The coroner's report confirmed the cause of death as drowning, with no signs of drugs or foul play. On the surface, it seemed like a tragic but not unheard of event. The ocean has always been dangerous, and rip currents can take down even the strongest swimmers in seconds. But what triggered public skepticism was the inconsistent and vague way the media covered the story. Some outlets reported an unclear cause of death, while others labeled it a freak accident. Meanwhile, crucial details about the scene, eyewitnesses, or the person who attempted to rescue Malcolm remain murky. There was no video footage, no first-hand accounts, and Malcolm's family members offered almost no insight into what happened. During his final moments, almost immediately, people online began comparing Malcolm's death to other high-profile drownings like Whitney Houston and Matthew Perry, both of which were surrounded by suspicious circumstances. With Malcolm, things seemed to clean. No drugs, no conflict, no red flags. Just a healthy man mysteriously pulled under during a family trip. As doubts spread like wildfire, controversial figures in the industry suddenly jumped into the conversation, escalating what began as a tragic loss into something far more explosive. Old accusations resurfaced, and scattered puzzle pieces started forming a chilling image of power, abuse, and hidden deals in the world of showbiz. At the center of the storm, Tyler Perry. Just as the public was still reeling from the shock of Malcolm's death, to familiar voices from Hollywood's truth-telling corner, Monique and Cat Williams spoke up. While both expressed sadness over Malcolm's passing, they also hinted that his death may not have been as accidental as the media portrayed. Monique, an Oscar-winning actress who was effectively blacklisted by Hollywood for years, implied that Malcolm might be the latest victim of a corrupt entertainment system she's been fighting against. Without naming names, her message pointed squarely at Tyler Perry, whom she has publicly accused of destroying her career because she refused to work for free outside of her contract. To Monique, Tyler wasn't just a powerful producer, he was someone who weaponized his influence to manipulate and punish anyone brave enough to say no. Cat Williams, the no-holds-barred comedian known for his explosive interviews, was even more direct. He's long accused Hollywood power players like Tyler Perry of using their status to coerce people into compromising their morals. According to Cat, these silent deals often involve trading roles for sexual favors, and anyone who refuses pays the price, whether that's their career, reputation, or even their life. Both Monique and Cat claimed Malcolm was a man of integrity, someone who lived by principle and refused to sell his soul for fame or money. They believe he had turned down a major project produced by someone very powerful, allegedly Tyler Perry, because the role demanded something he considered morally unacceptable. After an old interview resurfaced in which Malcolm talked about walking away from millions to stay true to myself, fans started connecting the dots. Was this really just coincidence? Former colleagues and friends of Malcolm began retreating into silence. No statements, no clarifications, no pushback. Meanwhile, Monique and Cat's claims spread rapidly, not just because they'd lived through similar battles, but because their words eerily aligned with the strange circumstances now unfolding. Could this really have been just a freak accident, or had Malcolm's death triggered a chain reaction, exposing dark secrets the entertainment industry had tried to bury for years? This was just the beginning. Tyler Perry has long been seen as a towering figure in American film and television. As a producer, director, writer, and actor, he's the mastermind behind countless box office hits and widely celebrated within the Black community. But behind all the glitz and accolades, a growing wave of allegations suggests that Perry might not just be a creative genius, but also someone willing to use his power to manipulate, control, and even abuse those around him. One of the most alarming cases to surface recently came from actor Derek Dixon, who once worked on a show produced by Tyler Perry. Derek claimed that Tyler had sexually harassed him, and when he refused to go along with it, he was blacklisted from the industry. Even more disturbing, Derek backed up his claims with private messages and detailed accounts of coercive behavior. He alleged that Tyler once pulled his pants down, touched him inappropriately, and whispered, "Just let it happen, it won't hurt." And Derek wasn't alone. Actor Christian Keys had also hinted in past interviews about being targeted by a very powerful industry figure widely believed to be Tyler Perry. Christian revealed that he'd had to record phone calls for his own protection, including one where the person on the other end offered him money in exchange for undressing. He also accused Tyler's team of illegally removing his name from a show he had created, forcing him to seek help from the actors' union to reclaim credit for his work.
Speaking to my brother about making a declaration of my experience, what I experienced with certain powers that be that were moving inappropriately. This person was for years. He was claiming, that he had multiple young black men on the payroll, and they just had to show up when he requested them to be there. Not just women that have to deal with it, but it's also men sometimes, and it'll be men tempting men. I was like, well, I gotta protect me, because I'm saying no, and I don't want this person, as powerful as they are, to try to get in the way of my work. So I started recording. So I have them offering me money to take my clothes off. I have recordings when I wasn't working with them or for them. I have recordings of them confessing that, the other guys that they have on the payroll. All of the above.
Then there's Brandon J., who shared his own troubling story while working. On the show Meet the Browns, he was originally cast as a smart student who gets bullied. But when filming began, Tyler abruptly changed the script. Now Brandon's character was supposed to be gay and romantically interested in his bully. Brandon said the sudden change made him deeply uncomfortable, but he was forced to go along or risk getting fired. The problem, he emphasized, wasn't the character's sexuality, it was the lack of respect and the coercive way everything was pushed onto him without consent. In a bombshell interview that lit up the internet, Cat Williams bluntly declared, Tyler Perry can't play a man. He only really lives when he's pretending to be a woman. The comment, while abrasive, sparked a larger conversation about how black men are portrayed in media. Was Tyler's consistent choice to write and play feminine or queer characters purely creative expression? Or was it a form of narrative control that reinforced damaging stereotypes? For the benefit of those in power, online sleuths began connecting all the dots. Many of the people who'd worked with Tyler and later spoke out about toxic or manipulative work environments shared a pattern. They either refused to compromise or dared to speak up, and now, most of them have been quietly pushed out of the spotlight. As for Malcolm, who once proudly stated that he'd never taken a role that made me feel ashamed or sold out my soul, there were just too many coincidences for people to keep calling his death an accident. Then came a moment that sent chills through the internet. An old interview with Malcolm was unearthed and went viral. In it, Malcolm spoke openly about his artistic values, how he refused to accept roles that went against his personal ethics, and how he wouldn't sell his soul for money or fame. He mentioned walking away from million-dollar deals just to stay true to himself and avoid projects that damaged the image of the black community or violated his integrity. The clip quickly became the missing puzzle piece in the picture Nique and Cat Williams were painting. According to them, Tyler Perry had once approached Malcolm with a major film opportunity, but the role required something Malcolm considered morally unacceptable. He turned it down. And not long after, he ended up dead during an overseas vacation far from home, away from the press, in a setting where everything could be taken care of quietly. Another eerie detail only added to the unease: a script reading memorial organized by none other than Tyler Perry shortly after Malcolm's death. The event was described as a private gathering, closed to the public and the media. Tyler invited the cast of read between the lines, a show Malcolm once starred, into his studio to read old scripts in his memory. On the surface, it sounded touching, but many online couldn't help but see it as a PR move away for Tyler to control the narrative and paint himself as a grieving friend instead of a possible suspect. What made it even more unsettling was the deafening silence from others in the industry, especially those who had worked closely with Malcolm. No one stepped forward to defend Tyler. No one confirmed or denied the rumors. The silence only fueled more suspicion. Did they know something but were too afraid to speak? Or was Tyler's influence so vast that no one dared challenge him? As conspiracy theories swirled, some took it even further, speculating that a neurotoxin had been found in Malcolm's system, something that could have paralyzed his muscles and made it impossible for him to escape the water. Others claimed he drank from a suspicious bottle before entering the ocean, and that the bottle mysteriously disappeared. None of these claims have been officially verified, but they've only added to the sense that Malcolm's death was anything but ordinary. So what's the truth? Was Malcolm Jamal Warner simply the victim of a tragic accident, or was he silenced in a hidden war between conscience and power within Hollywood? The real answer might remain buried unless someone courageous enough decides to speak out. On paper, the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner could easily be summed up in one line: drowned due to strong currents. But in the minds of many, especially those familiar with the darker side of the entertainment industry, it's impossible to let the story end there. Here was a principled artist, someone who'd walked away from million-dollar offers to protect his integrity, who suddenly lost his life in a faraway place under vague and suspicious circumstances. The public couldn't help but wonder, was this truly an accident? Or was it the price of saying no to the system? In a world where power comes with the ability to control not just careers, but people's lives, standing your ground like Malcolm once did is sometimes the bravest thing a person can do, and also the most dangerous. If what Nique, Cat Williams, and others have claimed is true, then we're not just witnessing the death of one man. We're looking at a warning, a chilling message for the hundreds, maybe thousands, of others trying to survive in a toxic system where speaking the truth can get you silenced. There may not be hard proof yet to point a finger at who's behind all of this, but that doesn't mean people shouldn't question, wonder, and most importantly protect those who dare to speak up, because silence, in these cases, can become a form of complicity, and every voice, no matter how small, is a step toward change. So what about you? What do you think happened to Malcolm Jamal Warner? Do you believe it was a tragic accident or a carefully disguised cover-up? Within the calculated world of Hollywood, do you believe Nique and Cat Williams? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to keep digging into the stories behind the spotlight, where truth is often hidden in plain sight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. There are still secrets out there waiting to be uncovered.